I refuse to answer that question.
This morning, I tell you what we are doing here is a very beautiful event this morning. I'm telling you, most especially for me, it's something that has lifted up my spirit. It's something that I'm so much elated about it, and I know as the program goes on, you will understand my excitement. Why I'm the most excited here this morning. Yes, on this note, I want to welcome everybody that is present here at this event this morning. We know that yesterday was just a dream. Today is the reality. Tomorrow is a vision. But when you spend today well, yesterday becomes a dream of happiness, and tomorrow is a vision of hope. And that is what today, that is why we are having this very event, this very day. On this note, I want to welcome everybody to this place. Thank you. It's a Monday morning, and I know that on Monday, everywhere in the world is a busy day. Be a partaker of this event. Say a big thank you to everybody that is here. I tell you, there will have been no event if every one of us, if we are not here. If we just come here, we say what a commission place, and nobody's here, there would have been no event. And that is when we say, even people surpass money. Thank you very much, everybody, for being a part of this event.
Broadcast journalist and a TV presenter. Also, I have an NGO called Yinka Kenny Girls Care Foundation. There's a foundation in which we do project the unspoken pains of the feminine gender. Also, I would say I'm a gender-based violence. Will we call it survival, or we say we are victors now? Whichever way. Well, while I was a teenager, I've been violated for so many times, and I'm a survivor, and I'm here standing this morning. This very initiative, a home of shelter by CEE-HOPE and Hearts100, I tell you, it's a wonderful initiative. A lot of girls out there they've just been damaged psychologically, physically, emotionally, mentally, and the worst part of the story is that they have no place to go to, nobody to trust, nobody to believe, nobody to talk to. A lot of them, their future has been damaged, their future has been killed. A lot of them are just there, they have become drug addicts, they have become sexual workers, and a whole lot of things. If we have more of a shelter home like this, we find out that it gives hope, it gives a future to the girl child. And I tell you, we say when you educate one girl child, you are educating the whole nation. It gives girls that have been victims of acts being perpetrated by people like this, it gives them some sort of confidence, it's a solace, and they can pursue their future to whichever extent that they want to. Thank you very much.
Please applaud me again. Encourage you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. This morning, we're going to be welcoming a whole lot of people. I said to us that every one of us is important. On that note, this morning, I'm going to the first person I want to call up onto the high table is a very handsome man, if I'm permitted to say a beautiful man. He's a very diligent man, a man with a heart of gold. He's somebody that, has been so supportive of, the children, the girl child, and he or she is somebody that loves children. His philanthropy work is something that is, you cannot even quantify it. When I hear of all the things that he does, and the irony of it that he's a quiet man, he's not a loud person. He does his things and he moves away from it. You need to be close to the people that he has affected their lives for you to know that, wow, this man is doing this. He's not a loud person, he's a complete gentleman. And this morning, I am honored to call Dr. Nemo Bassi. He is the director of Hearts100 and is also a top environmentalist here in Nigeria, and is the director of Health Mother Foundation. You're welcome. It's my honor to call you there. Thank you very, very much. It's a representative of Hearts100 here in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Please give him a round of applause. Please, let's clap now. Let's clap. Thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
My name is Nemo Bassi, Director of Health of Mothers Foundation. I'm here also representing Hearts100. We're here to mark the formal inauguration of Hearts of Hope Shelter. And it's particularly important because a lot of women in Nigeria are suffering from all kinds of adverse impacts from abusive relationships, from demolitions of homes, from displacements, and they simply don't have, a lot of women don't have any hope or any form of assistance. And so today we're marking the creation of one of such places where women can have hope to get their life restored and to live a reasonable life in dignity and with due respect.
All right. Also, I want to call somebody, another very, very notable person in Nigeria. This particular woman, she is the first person to establish a shelter like this in this country. She's the first person in this country that caught the vision and decided to be there for abandoned girls, girls that have been violated, girls that have been, battered, and that need help. I'm talking about no other person. She is the executive director of Project Alert. Mrs. Josephine Chukuma. God bless you. Thank you very much for being a part of this event this morning. Okay.
My name is Josephine Chukuma, and I'm the founder executive director of Project Alert on Violence Against Women, which is an NGO set up to promote and protect the rights of women and young girls. And we set up the very first shelter for abused women in Nigeria in May 2001. And I'm here today to celebrate another sister, fellow activist and gender advocate, Betty Abba of CEE-HOPE, who has joined me in the joint Project Alert in the I call it the madness, because that is what it is, of setting up a shelter for abused women in Lagos. I welcome Betty, I welcome CEE-HOPE. Shelter services for abused women in Nigeria is more or less non-existent, because in the whole of the country today, I don't think we have up to 20 shelters across the 36 states, and which is a shame, because in the face of sexual and gender-based violence and what women are going through, a lot of women sometimes need a safe space. They need somewhere to get out to in order to work with professionals to help them walk through the issues they are going through. You know, you need to be alive to be a wife. You need to be alive to be a husband also. You know, so what shelters do is to provide women and girls who are in abusive environment and relationship time and space away for them to think through what they are going through, working with professionals, which include counselors, lawyers, psychotherapists, you know, to basically break down everything that is going on in their lives in order to save a life. Like I said, between the sanctity of life and marriage, life comes first. So we are Project Alert. We are happy to be here with our sister organization, CEE-HOPE, as they join us in opening a shelter for abused women in Lagos, Nigeria.
Coming up to the eye table this morning, a top journalist He is one of the board members of CEE-HOPE Nigeria, the person of Mr. Richard Mama. Mr. Richard Mama, are you here? Thank you for being a part of this. All right, welcome. And today I'm honored to call a representative from Mirabel Center. Mirabel Center is a sexual assault referral center where you have issues, maybe somebody has been assaulted in your neighborhood, in your household. Just give a call and tell you they are one guy, and they have lawyers, they have everything it takes to keep that running, and they have been doing what they know how to do best and doing it very, very well. So we have a representative of Mirabel Center here this morning, in the person of Juliet Oluwi-Warufai. Good morning. Welcome to this event today. Please let's clap, let's clap, let's clap, let's clap, let's clap. Okay, on my list now, Kappa is from Kappa, is also an environmentalist, and like Betty is also a mentee of Dr. Nemo. All right. Okay, maybe after these events, I'm also going to apply. Is it that to apply or I should just come and clean, or how do I do it? But me, I'm not living here without being one of the mentees. All right, I have the honor to call on Akimode Oluwafemi from Kappa this morning. He's just waving to me. Thank you very much for being a part of this event. Also, my very good sister, auntie, darling friend, when you have another person that is a friend, a sister, she has a warm heart. She's always there, to hear you out, to listen to you. Whatever you want to say, she's there. And she's also an advocate, talking about this GB, gender-based violence that we talk about, and being there for a lot of people that has been affected. She's a darling sister, she's a darling friend, and she also has a heart of gold. She's beautiful inside and outside. I say all these grandmas that don't want to grow old. She is the person of Dr. Princess Olufemi Kayode. Please give her a round of applause. You're welcome, ma'am. You're welcome, ma'am. Once again, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has made it to this event this morning. And what are we doing here this morning? It is the official opening of the Hearts of Hope shelter. This initiative is an initiative by CEO and the Hearts100 is a shelter that is going to accommodate, that is going to see to the well-being of everyone that has been affected by gender-based violence. So, having said that, I want to call on the woman behind all of this. We all know her, we all call her different names, we all call her the way it suits us. But for the purpose of this event this morning, I'm going to be calling on the founder of the Center for Children Health Education, Orientation and Protection, and in the person of Betty Abba, to come have our seat, and I'm going to give her to this chair today, this event, because she doesn't know how to sit on the high table when she's having an event. All right, Betty, please let's give her a round of applause. Please let's applaud her. I'm calling you to the high table first to see them. Yes, she doesn't know how to sit down when she's having an event. So today I want her to sit down. Let me just say something about Betty. Betty is a woman that has been persistent in what she believed in doing. And she is a woman with an heart of gold. She's a very attentive person. She's somebody that has passion for the children and the gender, everybody that is a survivor or has been affected one way or the other due to gender-based violence. I tell you, one call to Betty, and one call, maybe a distress call to Betty, and she's all over trying to give assistance, trying to say, who do I know, who am I going to call? Okay, talk to this and talk to that person. I tell you, this is one woman that she's good, beautiful outside and beautiful inside. She's a super woman, she's a super lady, she's always on her toes, she's always working, always, active, and I tell you, she's somebody that has impacted into the lives of so many people. She has encouraged a lot of people to, wake up and do the things they find themselves doing even today. I tell you, she's one of the people that have even encouraged me, even in building in the course of my NGO, and so at one point, I could just get stuck. And I put a call through to Betty, and I know that the problems are solved. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give Betty a round of applause here this morning. And on that note, I have the pleasure to call onto this. Is there a podium? There's no podium. Okay. To call around here to come and give the welcome and opening speech of this beautiful event. Please give her a round of applause as she does that.
Hello, good morning everyone. I hope you are still in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry we are running I'm doing it with a lot of teaching because I know my boss is a stickler for punctuality. I told people in the house he told me before 10, and before 10 he was here. Madam Josephine is also a stickler for punctuality. She also appeared, so I knew I was in trouble. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to make this event as brief as possible today because this is a Monday, and Mondays are usually very busy. And I want to say that setting up a shelter or running a shelter usually involves a lot of privacy for obvious reasons. But we are setting this up today not just to announce the presence of the shelter, but also to make a statement that we have a major disaster at hand and that we need to draw attention to gender-based violence, despite the gender-based violence, and a very big gap in response that the government and people are supposed to take charge to respond. So I have a speech and I will try to make it as brief as possible. So welcome everyone and thanks so much. So I would like to welcome everyone to today's event. I welcome especially my big friend and activism mentor and one of the world's leading environmental rights activists, Dr. Basi, who has kindly agreed to represent our partner at Hearts100, and who is also the official representative of Hearts100 group in Nigeria. Hearts100 is an international group. Indeed, today's event is possible because Dr. Basi generously facilitated it. We at CEE-HOPE are extremely grateful to him for his generous support, not only on this front, but on so many others. God bless you. Today is just a day after Mother's Day and a week after the widely celebrated International Women's Day. What an apt time to talk about gender-based violence. What an apt time to present an urgent solace for victims and survivors of gender-based violence. As we all know, COVID-19 has come not just as a killer of human beings and destroyer of the global economy, but has also led to a global spike in gender-based violence. Incidences of intimate partner violence, physical battery, sexual violence, and all sorts of domestic violence are rife. This is because either the victim is locked in with his or her abuser owing to lockdown measures or loss of livelihood, or partners find it hard to manage pressures. It is for this reason that gender-based violence has been tagged an epidemic within an epidemic. And as usual, women and girls are the major victims. In Nigeria, rising cases of gender-based violence are also obvious, mainly leading to deaths of partners. We are witnessing a major economic recession and in the background, a widespread rape culture and gender stereotype fueled by dominant patriarchal traditions, only aggravating things. But all these realities would not have been so scary were we a nation with adequate support system extending to reach the victims. Shelters, safe houses, the taking victims of gender-based violence are grossly inadequate, to put it lightly. An ongoing research by leading gender-based response organization, Project Alert, represented by the founder, Madam Josephine. Please let's clap for her. She's a living light as far as gender-based violence issues are concerned in Nigeria. So, an ongoing research by leading gender-based violence response organization, Project Alert, and founder of the first women's shelter in Nigeria, Sophia's Place, found that Nigeria has less than 20 women's shelters. And even then, those are majorly run by private organizations and religious institutions. Government shelters are very, very few and far in between. And as it is with government business, even the very few run by government are mostly on life support. Most of them are perennially deprived of qualified staff, food for residents are generally running at low and negligible budgets, even if ever they exist. Besides the Lagos State and Ekiti State government, which are doing credible work in response to gender-based violence, and have some of this infrastructure and legal mechanisms in place, most states in Nigeria are performing woefully on that. Where then the threatening women and sometimes men go when their lives are on life support, when their lives are in danger. How do girls experiencing serial rape incidences in the hands of powerful uncles, employers, and the like escape to? Where do battered bodies and souls take refuge? Why should people die untimely when, as a nation, we have the resources to prevent such untimely and clearly preventable deaths? To further shock you, and this is very, very important, I want all of us to really take note. Do you know that Canada has over 400 women's shelters? The United Kingdom has more than 300, and this is different from homeless shelters and animal shelters. These are just shelters dedicated to women. When you compare the fact that Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people, compared to that of Canada's 37 and the UK's 66 million. Now, Canada has 37 million people. They have over 400 shelters. But we can only boast of less than, boast of less than 20 shelters, then you know that we really have to worry. This, therefore, is a screaming clarion call to our government at the various levels, private institutions, and public-spirited individuals to take the lead for setting up shelters as a major priority. Also, with regard to female genital mutilation, this is a more serious practice in Nigeria than is usually publicized, because the rituals are often shrouded in secrecy. As we speak, many women and girls are still trapped in this age-long tradition, which degrades their human rights and debases their sexuality. Due to government failure to implement and enforce available laws against the practice of female genital mutilation, in most states, the tradition still thrives. Again, due to the lack of a support system like shelters in most states, women and girls running away to prevent female genital mutilation are forced into homelessness, misery, or return back to society. We can't run away from facing and addressing this reality. We are therefore extremely grateful to our partner at Congress for providing this much needed service for women and girls at risk of being affected by gender-based violence, and many whose lives may be threatened. If we are a nation that truly cares, no woman or girl needs dies for gender-based violence. Hearts of Hope Shelter will provide women and girls needing our service. Hearts of Hope Shelter will provide temporary accommodation, psychosocial support, and empowerment for women and girls needing our services. The maximum stay for each resident is 3 months. Those located in Lagos, you can take in residents from women and residents from nationwide, just women and girls. Again, we thank our senior friend and consistent supporter University for making this a reality. We do not take this opportunity for granted. Thank you, sir. Thanks to all our supporters, our staff, our board members, and everyone who has lent to helping out in this regard and on so many other levels. Thank you so much, and God bless. Welcome to the
right, thank you very much, Betsy. That was a very good speech from the founder of CEE-HOPE Nigeria. And once again, we say a very big thank you to Dr. Nimo Basi for being there for the foundation and being there for everyone that needs help and assistance. Also, before I call on the next speaker right now, I want to also invite Mr. Sam Olukoya. He's a veteran journalist and board member, CEE-HOPE in Nigeria here. Mr. Sam Olukoya, will you please come to the ITV? Where are you, Mr. Sam Olukoya? Are you there? Right, please give me a round of applause as he comes out. All right, without much ado, right now I want to call the man himself, the man that is behind all of this, the man that has been so supportive, the man that has been so passionate about this event, that is in the person of Dr. Nimo Basi. He is the Director of OMEP and representative of Hearts 100 to come and give his speech this morning. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. That's a wonderful introduction. Good morning, everybody. I said good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I want to be sure you're still awake. Please permit me to speak sitting down. Is that okay? Well, I think it's a very intimate gathering, so sitting down should be fine. Thank you very much. Let me begin by appreciating everybody who's champagne on this side of the hall, and everybody here. You made a decent sacrifice to come here on Monday morning. I truly appreciate it. And I want to thank Betty. Betty has been a source of inspiration, her commitment and dedication to helping the vulnerable and marginalized persons, both children and adults. The phenomenon. I've followed her work for many years. We used to be together in one organization, and CEE-HOPE with all our blessings and support. And it's such a pleasure just seeing her and seeing the work she's doing and seeing the young people she's inspired. Some of whom would never probably have not been noticed without the facilitation of CEE. One thing that makes her stand out is that once she sets her mind to do something, you're not going to stop her. And that's because she thinks about what she's going to do. She doesn't just do things on the fly. And that is what I would recommend for all of us. When you are sure that you are convicted or you are conviction, nothing should shake you from pushing on with your idea. Because as Thomas Sankara said, that for people to really make a change, you need a different kind of ideas. It's people who are a little mad who will make the difference in life. Otherwise, everybody just be comfortable, stay, never being willing to take any risk. It is also a very big honor for me to represent Hearts 100. I'm one of the independent consultants, but two independent consultants for Hearts 100. The first person is Sima Sama, the human rights lawyer and right title laureate from Afghanistan, and she is basically making recommendations for groups in Afghanistan to Hearts 100. And I don't need to say anything about what I'm doing. Now, the question I would want to ask was is, have you ever been heartbroken without anything happening to you personally? Have you seen people on the streets and you just wonder, what can I do to help such a person? Have you ever seen a situation where you want to do something but you feel helpless to do it? And the last question I would like to ask is, when were you last heartbroken? If you've never been heartbroken by how other people are living or feeling, by a situation that others have been forced to live in, and and you are never heartbroken, I would suggest that you have your heart checked. There's something wrong. You know, one of the things that can happen to a person that is really horrible is when your heart is hardened. If your heart is hardened, it really, really means doctor should see a doctor. As for yes, I call him because see somebody to check it out. Hearts100 is an organization that came to be last year, early last year, or thereabout, due to the spike in situations confronting vulnerable women and children around the world due to COVID-19 pandemic. And initiators are three women: Simona Scapelegia, who is the CEO of Age Strategy, and Rafa, who is a publisher in Switzerland. And we believe that 100 is equal in every society. In other words, in our thinking, 100 naira is the same as $100. Because we want to really check the value of any currency, you have to take of the context in which that currency is used. And as you all know, or maybe you haven't thought about it this way, money is fiction. It's just an idea, it's a story. When I was growing up, as a young person, I remember seeing the Nigerian pound. Nigerian used pound. And it was written on it, the Central Bank of Nigeria promises to pay. And they never pay. So the currency you use is a promissory note. It's a note, the value of the paper is because Central Bank or somebody decided to put the value just piece of paper. So money is fiction, it's story. What is more important is how we relate to one another and what we do to help one another. The most valuable commodity, the most valuable thing is relationship that you have with the next person, not how much money you have in your account. So people are contributing just 100, and then the 100 adds up to make a difference in somebody's life. In the market women, in Makoko, in the recently demolished Monkey Village, in other parts of Lagos, helping poor farmers in Afghanistan, giving hope to the vulnerable. And it is a thing of joy when people contribute that drop in the bucket, and it makes a big difference, as we're sure this facility will make. It will be one thing for you to contribute, and then the drop disappears. But when it disappears, when the drop is utilized in a visible, tangible way, and then somebody whose heart was broken will be healed. Yesterday I was asking Betty, or was it this morning? Yesterday, about one particular lady at Monkey Village. I've been thinking about that lady since I met her. She lives in the open, she's been in the open since the community was demolished. And I asked Betty, how did she breathe? But whenever I think about her, it breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. Because she's very articulate, very hardworking. She used plastic to make a shelter where she's staying. And the day we visited, her stew was smelling so nice. But she couldn't offer it. Even though I was spoiled in very different ways. But I don't blame her because she doesn't know when she'll be able to do the next move. And so Betty, I think that woman is special attention. And I will personally work with you to bring her out of that place. And there are children and women, just one person at a time. So I want to thank you all for coming here. And as this place is called the House of Hope, I do hope that our hearts will be hopeful and that we will do our bit to make a difference. Thank you very much and welcome. Is that all you can do? Is it because I did not stand up? That's my punishment?
That means our punishment will be plenty in terms of no clapping, because I want to join you. Okay, did I stand? Okay, some people at the back, okay, I'll stand. Alright, I'm very loud, I know that. Very loud. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Betty.
I admire and I pity Betty today. I admire and I pity Betty because Betty, I'm not sure Betty knows what she's starting today. Seriously. And I'm saying that with all sense of responsibility because in May 2001, my organization, Project Alert of Violence Against Women, opened the first shelter for abused women in Nigeria, Sophia Space. And we are still running it. We are running it from our own building now. While shelters, like she said, there are different types of shelters. An orphanage can be called a shelter. A motherless baby's home can be called a shelter. NAPTIP has a shelter for trafficked women, but a shelter for abused women and children is different. It's different. These are women running from abusive relationships. Children running. When I was growing up, my father used to say, when the stress of outside catches you, you run into the house. Now people are running from the house outside. Yes, they are running from inside the house. It should be a safe zone outside. And starting a shelter is not like any other project. My colleagues here, we advocate, my brother Nemo here, the easiest work for any advocate, for any activist is advocacy. You speak to the press like this, speak around and they record you, and then present you. Do research, close your file. Do conference, research or whatever, close your file. Report well. Open a shelter for abused women, get your mother's seat. No, seriously. I want her to know. I'm not frightening her. I've been having chats with her. We've run this for 18, 19 years in Project Alert, and we are still learning on the move. We are still learning on the move. Shelters are very old in the I'm sorry I have to take I'll be very fast. Shelters are very common. She gave some figures. For 40 years, shelters came out from the feminist movement in the 70s. In the UK, in America, in Europe, shelters are common knowledge from the 70s. The first shelter in Africa was Musasa Project in Zimbabwe. I need to give just a little bit of Musasa's project in Zimbabwe. That was the first shelter for women in Africa. I visited them in 1999, 2000, when I was planning to open our own shelter in 2004. It takes a lot of guts and courage. Betty is coming when the terrain is fairly busy. I wasn't married in the 2000. I wasn't married in. I was married. But when I started thinking about it, I wasn't married. And people were saying, look at this one, we never married. See this one, we know, little she know. And then you go and visit shelters and hear some of the stories of how an irate husband or boyfriend will hunt the person down there and gun the person down. The fear of God is starting the shelter will catch you. You caught me. You caught me. I said, and I saw wrestling. Okay, so that is shut up. I started there in the day. She said to me, this one, you can't be afraid. You must do it. Since it is for you to do it, you must do it. And we did it. But Betty is not going to be an easy ride. But the passion and the commitment will see you. Also, we live in a country where the things are just impunity. Really. You will see a big man like this, because people will say, now my wife, I married her with my mother, I think it can't do anything. It will concern me, now my picking, a big man, and a big one. Yes, now, I've heard that. A young man said to me, my papa beats my mama, she don't die, if I beat her, she will break, she will dead. Yes, impunity. A patriarchal society that makes men feel they can do anything and get away. And of course, most times they get away with it. So, it goes on and on. So some of us, we seem like amebo, we seem like people who cannot mind their business. Because the bad thing has become the norm. And the good thing is the abnormal thing. It's the abnormal thing. So I'm here to, I congratulate my sister, the more the merrier. Like she said, we don't have up to 20 shelters in Nigeria, 36 states, over 200 million people. Shelters are one of the urgently needed intervention services for victims, for survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. A lot of women stay on in abusive relationships because of, I don't know where to go. If they go to their family of birth, they send them back. Why? Because of small change. The man they buy yam, they bring home. The man they pay rent for the papa. The man they pay him brother's school fees. So they mortgage that woman. They mortgage her. Go and shut up your mouth. If he says jump, you say how high, you jump. If you say lie down, you lie down. Just shut up. Don't remove the bread from our mouth and put stone. You know? So that is what is going on. We're not up to 20 shelters in the whole of Nigeria. And most of the shelters are private initiatives, NGOs like ours, and a few faith-based ones. Governments, 36 states, state governments, we don't have up to 3 of them. I'm saying this because it's not an easy thing. So we need more of such services. So when Betty said CEE-HOPE was thinking about it, it's beautiful. Join us. I'm not promising it's going to be easy. You are going to cry sometimes. When I pray for my family in the morning, the next place I pray for is a shelter. I pray for my family first, and the next place is a shelter. Because I have staff who are living there. And if a mad person comes there, a mad person in the name of husband or boyfriend, because he's pursuing the wife, it can harm so many people. That's the reality there. So it is not an easy thing. Please, let's not just think this is just a walkover. It's not a walkover. This thing is starting today. I pray God will be back. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. That was a very good speech. Please let's give her a round.
I stood up now. I stand now.
I really don't pray that any one of us experience the gender-based violence, and I pray that those of us that have gone through it will overcome it. If I can relate with what she's saying, because I'm a survivor. You can imagine when somebody is being molested on a daily basis for a whole year. That's very cool. I said on a daily basis. That's the keyboard at the age of 16. So that's the story for when the session comes. All right. I want to call on my auntie, my sister, my friend, Dr. Princess Ifemikaya, the Gideon Media. To come and say one or two things. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My result says 11:59. Still morning. I want to say a big congratulations to CEE-HOPE and of course the Hearts100 for this initiative. For me, I don't know, maybe this is a little bad, but my coming here, when I saw the banner outside and I'm seeing everybody here, I actually think this should not be happening here. Shelters are places that are secret. I wasn't too happy about that. Because you already had issues of people tracing, and when you put in abused women who are going through some deep issues in their lives. And I'm deliberately saying this because everybody who is here, you need to know that you don't go out, you live here and say that's the location. It's so important. You are privileged to know the place, but you should not be, under any circumstance, share the location with anybody. Because this is the issue of security with lives of us who are human rights defenders. People are attacked and wounded and killed in the course of this war. We would love that this shelter would not have that experience. So that's just the word that has been in my heart since I sat down. Like, oh God, we're launching lunch here, you know. I was like, oh my God, why are we here? But everybody who is here should hold that in their hearts as a responsibility to keep this location secret. You get to know it. Cameramen, photographers, guests, please, let's make sure that it will not be through us, but there will be a leakage that will cause harm to both staff and women and children that are in this location.
Thank you very much, Princess, for that. And our media, I'm loud, don't worry. And the media colleagues here, please, and I think I said it outside, as much as possible, if you can take away their address, please, when we are reporting, please. If you capture the banner, and you just edit it to make sure that the address doesn't show. Please. Please, I don't let it not the leakage not come from our word of mouth. Please, we know what we are talking about.
Exactly.
Please, we know what we are talking about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that. Before we go on, I would like to recognize the presence of some people here. And not just waving your hands, just honor this gathering by standing up and waving your hand. We have Olajumoke Matilda Utitoju. She's a representative from the Lagos State government. Okay, thank you very much for honoring the invitation. Thank you very much for being a part of this gathering. Also, in our midst this morning, we have Dr. Tunde Akonde. He's a senior lecturer with Lagos State University. Last year, Dr. Tunde Akonde. Please, can you just wave your hands to be recognized. Is he here? I can see him. Wave your hands, okay? All right, also in our midst this morning, we have Pastor Mike Awe. He's a senior journalist and he's also a clergyman. Good morning. God bless you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here. Without so much ado, I want to call on someone to come and do a very brief performance for us this morning. Evelyn Osage, she has a poetry performance on Women Arise. She's very short. Thank you.
I'm just going to take off my mask. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Evelyn the Poet Osage. This is a great initiative. I congratulate the initiators of this laudable project. This poem that I'm about to do briefly now is it was first commissioned by the United States Consulate.
You can come this way.
Where Princess was part of that gathering a few years back, and it is to encourage and cheer women, to begin to take up the responsibility of the fight against domestic violence by themselves. I would also like to use it here to urge all of us, both women and men who are here, to tell us to arise. Rising is not just confronting domestic violence in our own home or in a small space, but supporting projects like this through our resources, through our volunteering, through our network of influence. So I bring you Women Arise. Once again, my name is Evelyn. What's on the guitar is Judy. Please enjoy. We are winners. That is who we are. We are taking up territories, we will reach the top. We're gonna run and run and run and run. We're gonna run to the highest top. We're gonna rock, rock, rock our world. We will rock and rock and rock our world. We are winners. Yesterday was a Mother's Day. Exactly 1 week ago was Women's Day. Women. This song that I just sang is for you. This song that is sung from ancient times that tell of the greatness of your being. Women arise, wake with promise. Become a cyclone, stop your abusers. You are stronger than the color you show. You work for hours, you till your land. Whether a mother, a daughter, a sister, you are a provider, a fighter, a teacher, an accountant, a finance minister, an economist, providing and defending family, society, humanity. A woman arise, although battered face, broken nose, heart rending scream, and our tales that women now tell. Once again I say, woman arise, wake with promise, call on your world, call on your home, stop your abusers. You are stronger than the color you show. I want everyone to join me as I round off with this last stanza. If a woman is close to you, since we're all putting on masks, say to that woman, tell her, woman arise. Wake with promise. Say it like you mean it. Wake with promise. Become a cyclone. Stop your abusers. You are stronger than the color you show. Now, if that woman is close to you, if a woman is close to you and you're a woman, say to yourself, say, women arise. Stand tall like Iroko. Shine like the moon. We are stronger and better than the color we show. Show your true color. Let's sing this song together. We are winners. That is who we are. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to sing with me and then I'll round up. Oh, yeah. We are winners. That is who we are. We are winners. We are winners. That is who we are. That is who we are. We are taking up territory. Taking up territory. Taking up territory. Taking up territory. We will reach the top. We will reach the top. We will run and run and run and run. We will run and run and run and run. We will run to the highest top. We will run to the highest top. We will rock and rock and rock our world. We will rock and rock and rock our world. Thank you very much. Indeed, women arise, and it's good to know that women are beginning to doing things for women in today's world. And I want to say thank you very much to every woman seated here and every woman out there doing one thing or the other for women. Thank you very much. Briefly, Tunia Ojenabon, are you here? She's a gender-based violence champion. Are you here? Oh, okay. Please give my round of applause. Just talk to us in 3 minutes.
Good morning, everybody. Congratulations, Auntie Becky. When I saw the flyer for this event, I was really thrilled. When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about shelters. And I always wished there was a shelter. Probably the abuse would not have gone on that long, and I would not have been stuck with my abuser for years till I got married. My name is Antonia Wina. I survived child sexual abuse, and it was perpetrated by my father's very younger brother. What I have to say this morning is, like, I don't even know what to say. I'm actually thrilled about what is going on here. I'm happy because more women will have a safe place to stay, and more girls who have been abused will not be stuck with their abusers. Because most of the time, because of lack of where to stay, you're stuck with your abuser. In my own case, when the physical abuse stops, there was nowhere to go to, and I did not want to live under the bridge. So I had to stay with my mom because my mom was a full-time housewife when my dad died. So when my father died, they distributed us among relatives, and that was when the abuse actually started. So if I had a place where I could run to, I would have run to that same day. So to CEE-HOPE, I say thank you for this noble initiative. At least now, I won't always have to call Project Alert when we have to send somebody to a shelter. Yes, I disturb them so much. Yes, so we want more of this, and we want the government to know that we need more shelters. A lot of women are stuck with their abusers and they don't have anywhere to go to. But with a place like this, we're not advocating that people should leave their husbands. We're only saying that people should leave abusive situations. We had a situation last year, the woman had nowhere to go to, and the guy had promised the mother of the girl that he was going to kill her, and he ended up killing the girl, and the mother is living in regrets right now, because the 4-year-old is always saying, my daddy beat my mommy hit her head, my mommy go to hospital, my mommy did not come back. That child is always recounting that. And by the time that child is old enough to understand what has happened, it is going to be very difficult for that child to forgive the father. So I want to say thank you to CEE-HOPE, and I want to celebrate for my mom as well as sitting here. Dr. Princess, thank you, Ma. Mama, thank you so much, Ma. You guys, you don't know what you're doing for young people like us who are looking up to you, who are celebrating everything you've done. Thank you. Madam Mercy, thank you so much, Mama.
Thank you so much, Tonia. Yes, I've heard that story over and over and over again. I don't know why Betty wants me to talk. I told her, is it I'm anchoring or I'm giving the speech? But she just wants me to share my experience. Anyway, it happened when I was 16, and my father left my mom. My father threw mom out, and all the children were scattered. I had to leave at the family, friend's place, and then there happens to be a pastor, a very well-known pastor in those days, that environment, and he took advantage of me. He would take me to the school every morning and do all he could do. I was 16, and he affected my school, my results in school. I need to mention here that I was right from primary school. I was one of the best in the school, and it so affected me in my final year that when I went to check my result, although I came down with a paradise C, but my math teacher was waiting for me. She gave me a death star because she didn't know what I was going through. She said, I expected more from you on this school, so I had to stay put and bear whatever I was going through and kept my mouth shut. And so when I finished my work, I got a biro. I said I was leaving. I didn't know where I was going. My mom was living in a small apartment, and my brothers were like 10 in one small room. Just said I was in the room. The wife was crying, saying blah blah blah. She didn't know what was happening, but I kept quiet. But you see, the irony of this story is that this happened when I was 16, and then I went through so many things growing up. Having to fend for myself. I keep telling my children that I've been fending for myself since the age of 17. I've been on the street since the age of 17 till date. I've been fending for myself. Went through marital gender-based violence also. Went through so many things, and I never mentioned this to anybody until I was 40. That is the irony of it. You see, any lady abused, you sit down and begin to blame yourself. you begin to blame everything around you. You see nothing wrong with the perpetrator. You feel that you begin to feel ashamed of yourself. You begin to say, what will the world do? Say, me of all people, what will they say that I went through this? It was as bad as at one point I was pregnant. The doctor that was going to do the DRT had to break me off. You see, so I went through all of this. I didn't know nobody. I didn't have any shelter. I didn't even know there was something you could get it's not like today's world when you have women rising up for women talking. Probably I could have come across one woman talking on TV and maybe look for her to tell her this is what I was going through. But that's why when I see women, that was what gave birth to my NGO, Yinka Kenny Girls Care Foundation, where what we do mainly is to protect the unspoken pains of the feminine gender. People that have heard my story, they know why we do that. When that's our slogan, we protect, because the feminine gender, a whole lot of times we have unspoken pains that eat us up. We don't find solutions to it. So I want to give it to this E for she. Honestly, when I see men supporting women, doing things to help women that have been broken, battered, shattered, honestly, it lifts my spirit, because I tell you, these things still happen even now. A whole lot of women, even educated elites, are going through so much and they cannot talk. So everybody needs a shoulder to cry upon. Somebody needs somebody I can talk to, and I know that my secret is sure, and this person is going to help me and not make it just of me, or ridicule me, or even blame me. Most of the times we judge the victim. Well, you might not say, why are you wearing what you're wearing, why are you putting, why are you there? But in view of counseling that person, you are judging that person, and the person just goes back to the shell and begins to suffer. And God help that person that the person's life is not taken, from that process. But well done once again, and God bless you. Kudos to what you're doing. God gives you more strength. And Betty, where's she? I said at the beginning that she does not know how to sit down. And God bless her for what she's doing. I tell you, you need to know her one-on-one to understand what I'm talking about. And I want to say that I want to encourage anyone here. Time is not a friend of ours. I don't want to talk too much. I want to encourage anyone here that is doing one thing or the other. You might not be at the forefront. You might not be at the limelight like some of us. You might not be, well, maybe because I'm a TV presenter. I have the platform. I can talk. People know what I'm doing. People might not know you, but I tell you, none of your labor of love will go unnoticed. None of them will go without a reward. It comes back somehow. God does not go. That is one thing I know. Thank you very much. That's what we talk. All right, so we go to the commissioning proper. That's what we have come here to do this morning. To the commissioning proper that Richard Mama should just give a short speech.
Sorry, I'm standing on all the protocols that have been set up. I want to appreciate everybody on this side and everyone on this other side. The short speech is 30 seconds. Thank you very much for coming to support CEE. We would need your support. I think some would appreciate about the fact that shelter is a secret center. So yes, you came to this event. We appreciate that you came, but it's also important to keep strengthening this vision by helping to keep information of a specific nature. Of a general nature, no problem, but of a specific nature, right? Be as confidential as you have grace. Having made that point, I want to say that you cannot run an organization of this nature without empathy. One of the things we need as a nation is empathy. We need to care. We need to feel. People want to have their way. They want to win. They want to get their results. But the earth is an ecosystem. You are connected to me as I'm connected to you. You know, the guy that has ₦1 billion is connected to the guy that has ₦100. That's the truth. That's God's earth. That's how He made it. So it's important for us in the midst of all the storms, and I'm sure everybody knows that there are storms. COVID is a storm. The economy is a storm. You know, insecurity is a storm. You know, education, you know, transportation, this city is a storm. You know, in the midst of all the storms, it's important that we find and keep empathy. It is on that basis that organizations like CEE-HOPE work to ensure that even when we are troubled, we still stretch out a hand. So that's just the point I want to make, to encourage us to find that space, to continue to stretch out a hand, so that at the end of the day we'll be satisfied in ourselves that we have contributed to making our space better. Thank you very much for your presence. We appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have just been informed that we can no longer go, that when we go outside, we might not, you know, have a, yes, we might not officially sit down together like this. So, quickly, I'd like to get one response from those of us sitting down. If you have just a response, you want to say something. Thank you very much. Please, let's hear your name.
My name is Vivian Etambasi. I work with ActionAid Nigeria. And in ActionAid, we are unapologetically feminist. And we advance the rights of women in every project and every semantic area that we work in. One of our projects is called the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria Project. There we work with over 100 women rights organizations. And one of the things we do is address gender-based violence, violence against women and girls. And so it is with excitement that I say congratulations from the Women's Rights Unit of ActionAid Nigeria. We are in need of shelters such as this in Nigeria. And I'd like to beg all actors in the fight and advancement to end gender-based violence to please come up with a referral direction. We need to know where to refer survivors or victims to for particular services. It is really important. So maybe after this, that's another project that we need to take on. Once again, congratulations to CEE-HOPE. Thank you very much.
Everybody. My name is Amaka Neji. I work with IC Consulting, and that was where we met Betty. In IC Consulting, we are interested in women and girls. And what we do is to empower young girls and women on self-defense mechanisms to help them fight rape, gender-based violence, and so on. So from there, we have trained a lot of young girls in our various communities. And when she brought this invite, I was like, she has made a step further to empower, to make the life better for the women and the girls in the community. And we really want to say a big thank you for what you are doing. Posterity will never forget. You have laid your mark in the sand of time. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Directory or whatever. It is always a constant thing. Because number one, the mortality rate of NGOs is higher than mother child. Infant mortality because of funding issues. You understand? The most recent one, like Project Alert, under the Spotlight project we are implementing, and Princess was actually the consultant. We have, and I'll share with you. I apologize, the last time we met, I should have shared that with you. We'll give you copies. In Lagos, we have developed a referral list of various service providers, states and non-states, meaning government agencies, Women Affairs, DSVRT, their phone numbers, the specific services they render, and the contact person. You have that in the book. I'll get copies across. That list may be okay for now. In 6 months' time, it will just be okay. Like CEE-HOPE now. You know, under the Action Aid project we developed a COVID-19 protocol to guide shelters because shelters became very endangered with COVID-19. You don't want to share it down. You don't want to help somebody and run into a problem, and then you are a part of the community spread. Are you with me? The COVID hit us. It hit us in our shelter in April last year. My 2 staff, whom you know, had to go for COVID test. And all of you had to shut down the shelter for 2 weeks. Yes, and all of that. So that protocol, we are about coming out with it. We are the last lap, we are wrapping up. We have a list of shelters. Just yesterday night, when Betty confirmed to me the opening of this, I said, give me the contact for us to include. So I had to even call my printer and say, hey, stop. If we are late in that, know that it's Betty too. Because we not that it's Betty, where is she? Because we wanted to update the list by adding acts of shelter in it. Do you understand?
All right, thank you very much. I think, where's Betty? I think that has done justice to what you said. Okay, before we go out now, I'd like Betty to finally come and give us a response to all of this.
Thanks so much. Ika Kenny has really helped us to make this brief. And I'm sorry again for keeping so many of you waiting. And this is serving as a response as well as closing remarks. First of all, I want to respond to what Dr. Princess said. I think you were not here when I made my opening remarks. I did say that we recognize that shelters are supposed to be private initiative, private residencies, especially for the privacies of the residents. But this is like a two-fold event. We are not just announcing the existence of this shelter, we're using it to make a statement. That's why we have a lot of media people here. To draw attention to the gross inadequacy of shelters in Nigeria. And I did mention that Nigeria has less than 20 shelters, a country of 200 million people, and about half of whose population are females, many of whom are endangered on a daily basis because gender-based violence is extremely prevalent. Compared to Canada with 37 million people, which has more than 400 shelters, women's shelters, not animal shelters, not homeless shelters, women's shelters dedicated to women. And after the official commissioning, we'll just convene again briefly for refreshment, and then there will be some media interviews and interactions and others. So thanks so much again, everyone, for coming and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Betty. And on that note, we are going to do what we came here to do proper. And what we came here to do proper today is the commissioning of the Hearts of Hope shelter. And I said earlier that this is going to be done by no other person than Dr. Nemo Bassi. He is the director of Health of Mother Earth Foundation. He's also a representative of Hearts 100. So please, ladies and gentlemen, I want to appeal to you that we all rise up as we go out. Oh, okay, I've been told that only the members of the ESCO were going to go out for the commissioning because of the new normal. We are in the new normal. Thank you very much. And once again, on behalf of those that organized this event, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that has made time out to be a partaker of this.
Always be careful what you do.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Sorry.
And we're praying that God will have Sion and all the those who will be here, and that this will be a place of refuge and help. And so we declare this open in the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.